Country Diggers. Today I'm going to do 2 more short stories in this Bad Days in History book by Michael Farquhar right there. And it is really too cold to get out and dig right now, so I'll be doing some history videos until we can get back to digging. All right. January 15th, 1919. The sweet smell of distress. A tidal wave of molasses. Death came suddenly on January 15th, 1919, in a terrible surge of sweet, sticky goo. I tell you, this is the way to go. If you want to go, this is the way to go. All right. Residents and workers in Boston's North End bustled about their regular routines on this unseasonably warm day, when at about 12:30 p.m., a loud rumbling, like an overhead train, could be heard, accompanied by what sounded like a rat-a-tat of machine gun fire. The popping of rivets, as it turned out. The noise came from a massive storage tank that had loomed over the neighborhood for 3 years and contained more than 2 million gallons of raw molasses. It was breaking apart. The tank's collapse sent a massive wave of molasses, about 8 to 15 feet, and significantly heavier than seawater, hurtling through the surrounding streets at 35 miles an hour, destroying everything in its path. Railroad cars were lifted from their tracks. Buildings were knocked off their foundations and crushed. People in the path of the relentless brown swell never stood a chance. All told, 21 people perished, some not uncovered from the vicious molasses for days, and another 150 injured. The sight that greeted the first of the rescuers on the scene is almost indescribable in words. A Boston Post reporter wrote, "Molasses waist deep covered the streets and swirled and bubbled about the wreckage. Here and there struggled a form, whether it was animal or human, being impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed where any life was. Horses died like so many flies on sticky flypaper. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mess they were ensnared. Human beings, men and women, suffered likewise. The owner of the tank, United States Industrial Alcohol, tried to disclaim responsibility for the disaster, blaming it instead on an anarchist bomb. After years of investigation, the company found to have been negligent in both the construction and maintenance of the tank, and forced to pay a hefty settlement to the survivors. And though the site of the disaster has long since been transformed into a park, some people swear that on a warm day, the sweet smell of molasses still wafts through the air." Oh, that might be a way to go. I don't know. You might be suffocated. They probably suffocated. But anyway, on to January 1st. January, month of the empty pockets. Let us endure this evil month, anxious as the theatrical producer's forehead. Colette, or Coletti, whichever. January 1st, crappy New Year. New Year's Eve. A day filled with new hope and fresh starts, except when it wasn't. For some unfortunates in history, January 1st was a dead end, and a rather ghastly one. Take the 5th century monk and martyr Telemachus, who stepped into the middle of a gladiatorial fight in Rome and tried to stop the human slaughter, only to be stoned to death by a bloodthirsty audience, unappreciative of the effort. Or Charles II of Navarre, known as the Bad, who in 1387 burned to death in his own bed after an attendant accidentally ignited the brandy-soaked bandages with which the king had been bound head to foot as a remedy for his ailments. Then there was Louis the XII of France, who, though aging and decrepit, was lucky enough to wed a young and beautiful English princess, Henry VIII's younger sister, Mary, in 1514. Alas, the vigorous attempts to sire an heir proved too much for the gouty old king, and he dropped dead from exhaustion just 3 months after the wedding. Yet, unlike those others whose grim demise fell on the new year, at least Louis had fun on the way out. All right, hope you all enjoyed. See you back soon.